going to look at the game, and we'll be playing the game as well. I'm Toby, one of the developers, one of the 4 developers of Sphere Flying Cities. It's a small team, and there's another Toby in the background from Assemble Entertainment. So
hello.
Yes, there is the second Toby. We're both Tobys, and we'll be moderating this together, but only I will be visible. So.
All right, I didn't think about that we have the name issue, but you know, if you want to talk to us, I'm Toby with an I, and he's Toby with a Y.
Exactly, we will do this together.
I guess
double,
so you can know talking.
the double team. I'm pretty sure we will have a good time. I'm very eager to jump in the game and show you what Sphere feels like and what you are able to do. And I hope we will have a lot of fun together. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to use the chat function. I will get the hint from the other Toby, and then I'll, as good as I can, I'll be able to answer the questions.
Right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in chat, either on YouTube or on Twitch. I will forward this, and we will see to answer everything. Any questions you might have. And Maria is here. Yay, Maria's in chat. Yay. Ooh. Let's go.
Cool.
Maria is also from Assemble. So.
Yeah, we have the combined forces here, and that's also something that as a player of the game you will be experiencing that as well, to combine the forces. And maybe before we start jumping into the actual gameplay, a few words about the setting. If Toby, what do you think? Should I say a few words about setting, or just the intro? Let the intro.
Yeah, sure. Tell the people a little bit what this is about. Like, we have Ed Gaming TV here. He's probably very curious what the game is about, right? Ed, hey Ed, how are you? And Azrael, good evening too. By the way, if it lags or anything, let us know. Then we can tweak a little bit of stuff. Because for me, it sometimes lags a little bit, but you guys will let us know. Thank you. So just go ahead, Toby.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Hopefully, we will not have too much of technical issues. Seems fine here from my perspective. Okay, a few words about the game. It's a sci-fi city builder. It's a game where you take over the job of the commander of the very first flying city, the city equipped with an anti-gravity device after a catastrophic impact of an asteroid hitting the moon, and the situation on Earth changed drastically after that, and the anti-gravity technology allowed our city to ascend into another sphere, and that's where the game takes place. And there are plenty of things to discover. There are plenty of dangers to encounter. There is much to find out, and the technology, the tech tree plays an important role, because as you play along, you advance technologically, and you upgrade the anti-gravity device step by step, and that's a major feature, very important for progress in the game, as you will find out very soon. I think enough words.
Enough words. Let's
play. All right. Let's check out the intro. I'll play it completely, of course, and then we'll play Sphere Flying Cities.
Nice.
Have fun.
A few weeks after the initial reports about the asteroid came out, It was undisputedly acknowledged in the academic world that it was going to collide with the moon. That was the day our world changed forever. Our reactions were as dark as science had predicted. Very little was spared from the destruction. No one from the disbelief. The impact of the asteroid shattered the moon into pieces, completely obliterating it. A thick layer of debris engulfed the planet, blocking out the sun. Fallout, flooding, darkness. Mankind was doomed. The recent discovery of anti-gravity gave us hope. This new technology laid the foundation for the future of mankind. The development of the anti-gravity device was a colossal undertaking. Scientists, mechanics, and engineers from around the globe came together in its creation. Everyone was anxiously awaiting the startup of the device. Then, there was a malfunction. During ignition, a destructive heat wave was released from the core. The surrounding area was almost completely destroyed. The device finally stabilized at a reduced capacity, and the ascension succeeded.
Okie dokie, there we are. If you paid attention and followed the information, there was the impact on the moon, obviously catastrophic for mankind, and the anti-gravity technology is very recently advanced to this stage to actually ascend a city, and therefore there was no knowledge to fall back to, and the start was devastating. And here we got the city planner, McCormick, and I'll give you a moment to check out.
By the way, did you ever notice how big the dinosaur skeleton was below the city when the city started?
It's a small.
Did you ever
very, very
pay attention
small.
to that? Yeah. It's like huge.
Yeah, that's actually not an Easter egg. It's a bit obvious for an Easter egg, but it's something our intro production the person responsible for that was kind of making a little joke there. Okay,
Yes, it's fun. It's important, it's a game. It should be fun. So
I'm gonna let you read this if you are into reading, and then I'm gonna sum it up real quick. Basically, as you have followed, if you followed the intro, as you noticed, the catastrophic heat wave that took place devastated the surrounding area, and that's why the whole this level of destruction is visible, and that's the reason for that. There are a few characters that accompany you on your adventure, and this is First Officer Conway, Lynn. She will be assisting you with smaller tasks at the beginning, and then we will also check out or get some more information from the other characters as well. As you can see, there is not much left, and that's the main objective at the beginning of the game to rebuild, to reestablish, to create a basis for further progressing, for creating a good life for the colony and of course for the colonists, which we have exactly 48 of at the beginning. There will be more, as you will see when we play a bit further. Okay, the first task is to set up to 8 centers, and that's what I'm going to do. There is the building menu, and I will explain that, of course, a bit more as we go along. I will go into detail, but I'm just gonna start playing and try to finish the tutorial here. That's first step. There will be a few more, and as you will notice, there are plenty of things to do alongside finishing the tutorial. Everything goes hand in hand, of course, because as you can see, the buildings don't function without access to the grid, and that's why we are going to connect these two buildings for
I just remembered one important thing we should mention is that this is an early access game, right?
Oh yeah, well yeah, probably should.
Yeah, so we just launched an early access. Can you explain a little bit what that means and what your plans are for the game in the next months and weeks?
Of course. Yeah, this is very early into the early access. We just launched today, so the version that you guys have access to from today on will include a variety of buildings, encounters with dangers, resource management, city building. There are plenty of buildings to unlock. As you can see here, a few of these buildings. We will go through the categories in a bit. You have to do research, as I've mentioned earlier. Technology is very important, so progress in the tech tree, in the different branches of the tech tree is very important. And all that is already in the game. With every update, there will be more, and there will be a full campaign as well with several missions guiding you through the whole game. You will discover a lot. And when we've finished the tutorial, I'll be able to access the navigation interface, which is a key feature of the game. So I'm very curious to show you that and explain how that functionality is embedded in the gameplay. It's for a city builder. It's very unique to not just look for resources on in the area surrounding you, but to actually fly to other parts of this game world, of the sphere, and search for resources, and then use those to expand the city. You will check a lot of that out here shortly. But yeah, like Toby said, it's an early access title, and there will be much more coming.
By the way, can you zoom out a little bit and show that the city's flying? I don't know if you can zoom out that far, but I think it's not too obvious on the first glance where we are. Yeah, so this is really cool.
Sometimes, Toby, please. I always I'm so much into the game that I sometimes lose track of what to show or what to focus on. So if you have anything that to kind of like guide me or help me from the more of the player's perspective, I'm very glad for that. So yeah, the city is above the clouds, at least above some of the clouds. We will encounter a few clouds during our session here. And the main device here, right in the very center, that is the anti-gravity device with the anti-gravity core up here. And that thing is the reason why the whole mesa, this rock bed here is up in the sky. And the force field that the anti-gravity device also creates is at the minimum, is at the minimal size. We are able to increase it. We are able to increase it very far and create a large shield. However, we need energy to do that. And at the moment, we have a relatively small amount of energy available. So we have to increase, we have to boost our energy production to really create a shield with a large radius. And the radius is just one aspect of the anti-gravity device. It's also the shield strength.
So what happens when you build outside the shield? Because right now there's no sorry? No, go ahead.
Come again?
Could you hear me? Or I was just asking what would happen if you build outside the shield? Because right now there's no danger or anything. The explosion happened and now everything should be fine, more or less, right?
Well, the explosion took place during the ascension. That's why the damaged buildings here are very prominent. But we are no longer on Earth, so and we're also not in space. We're somewhere in between, and so the conditions outside of the dome are hostile. And what will happen if I build a building outside the dome? It will just go and get damaged step by step. So building outside of the dome is not a good idea, at least if you want to use those buildings later in
so
the
there
game.
is in the world there's still a threat outside of the
Exactly.
shield,
The living
even if you don't see
conditions.
it, so.
The living conditions outside of the dome are hostile, and therefore everything built outside of the dome will automatically decrease when it comes to the building health, the condition of the building, and therefore we have to stay under the dome. All right, I'm gonna progress here with the tutorial a bit. Whenever there's something a question coming up, anything comes to mind, feel free to jump in at any time, of course. All right, the first tutorial step was to build 2 8 centers. Now the injured colonists can get treatment. That's good. And the second tutorial task is to create some more residential units or to create some more living space. I'm gonna place a few small residential buildings right here, and then also connect those to the grid. As I've already said before, the grid, it's very important. Everything needs to be connected to the grid. It's a multifunctional transportation system for water, energy, serves as also for pedestrians, as just a street in a way, of course. And as you've maybe already noticed, there are some transport drones already doing some work transporting goods, and later there will also be people transportation, passenger transportation. One thing that immediately comes to or is very visible, that the building space is limited under the dome. Therefore we need to expand the size of the dome quickly to create more space for buildings, to let the colony grow.
I have a question from Ed. how will it be in the late game? Will you possibly be able to take over other cities? Because he thinks the building site will run out at some point for the building space, you know.
The building area is obviously limited, and our plan is for full release to have additional platforms that expand the building area. But to tell you, it's gonna take a while to get to a city of that size. It's not like, I mean, it looks relatively small at first sight, and obviously it is limited, but it takes hours of gameplay to really create a metropolis. And I mean, that's what we're all trying to do. It's a lot of fun, and as we will play along, the city will already get much bigger, but you will really need to play quite a while to really get like all of the building area completely full. It's quite a while. It looks smaller than it actually is, and then, like I said, there will be platforms. It's the technology tree. It's under engineering. It's surface construction. This here, this guides in the right direction, and there will be a few technologies as a prerequisite, and then at some point, when you've mastered this this branch of the tech tree, you will be able to create these artificial platforms to increase the building area.
Cool.
All right. Okay, the colonists moved in. We have right now 36 out of 48 colonists accommodated. Should be 40 here in just a minute, because every one of those single residential units can house 4 people. And there we go, 40 out of 48. That means we still lack 2 single residential units, and I'm just going to place these right here. Connect it like this, and then remove this. Remove the other street tile over here. There we go. And I think I will also give the drone a few removal tasks to just get rid of some of these damaged street tiles and damaged buildings within the radius of the anti-gravity device here. So we have a few building spots free. All right.
So at the beginning, should you take all of the ruins away, or should you wait? Is there any difference?
Well, if you remove all the ruins at once, all the damaged and destroyed buildings at once, it will exceed your storage capacity. So that is one reason why it's not the best idea to completely remove all the damaged buildings. And also,
how much storage do you have? Sorry?
We have right now the storage capacity of 10,000 material units. That might be slightly adjusted at some point, but for now we will give the player the amount of 10,000, and if that is not enough, there are additional storage units that you can buy, build. The price is just material. So we got the material storage, water storage, and food storage. The food supply is obviously also something that you need to take care of, and The first variation of food production is a plantation, vegetable growing, and this is also our the third task of the tutorial. And here's Lynn again, and she wants us to set up a plantation because the food supply needs to be secure. So we built some aid centers, we built residential units, and now I'm going to place a plantation. And I always like to...
So I imagine while you're building here the city, the first steps of the city, so you build more and more and your city gets bigger and bigger and you're flying around. What do you think, maybe not now, but for the release version or in a couple of months, what will your goal be, your ultimate goal as a player? Do you have a story plan for the game? Can you tell anything about that already, for example?
There is a complete story and a campaign, if you want. The story will be closely linked to the tech tree, to the advancement in the tech tree, because as I've already mentioned at the beginning, the advances of the anti-gravity technology is essential for progress in the game. So as you are advancing the anti-gravity device through technology, you're also progressing in the story. So there is a connection of tech tree and story, and you will actually just set out on an adventure that will take you around the globe and within this sphere, and you will encounter a load of dangers and situations to endure.
Okay. Ezreal is asking a question here. If there will be material resources, if they will be finite, or is there any late game tech to get infinite material, for example, like air capturing or mining, meteor sites, something like that?
There will be a few other types of resources as the game goes along, but the way how to get these resources is already implemented in the early access version, meaning that you always look for resources within the sphere. You scan sectors to discover resources. A unique form of resources in a way are the damaged buildings that are the leftover of the catastrophic start, the catastrophic ignition of the anti-gravity device. Therefore, by removing these damaged buildings, you will gather material, but at some point you've removed all of these buildings, and then the only way to gather resources in that sense is by removing your intact buildings, which you only should do when there is no other option. However, we'll probably get to that point during the session. That also happens quite often, that you need to remove a building because you're running out of energy. And energy and material, the link is very important. The power plants need material to work. So in order to power up the anti-gravity device, material is also needed like in an indirect way, because the power plants will not work without material and the...
Cool. So if I understand correctly, there's also, like, when you fly around, gather resources, you can also upgrade your tech tree, become more efficient at that, and get material, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
And direct air capture is actually one of the technologies that comes in phase 2, and it's you will not get a new type of material, but it will give you a boost in material production. We will, or we should get to the material production here in just a second. because once we've completed the tutorial, then we will mine our first resources, and then those resources will be turned into material. So hopefully that will explain the whole mechanic a bit better. Okay, the next tutorial step is comes in very handy. I was just talking about the power plants and about the importance of energy, and that's why it's also in the tutorial to build a second power plant, because most of the infrastructure is gone that we had before the ascension, and like I said, energy is vital for the device, for the success of the colony, for survival in general. Therefore, this tutorial task is very informative, not just because energy is important, but there is also a second job connected to this task, or to this energy production site. The setting up of that is to increase priority, and that is an important feature. All production sites have a priority, and by raising the priority, by increasing the priority level of a building, you make sure that the workers that are available to you take care of this building for sure. Because as the city grows, you will have to manage quite a few buildings, and at some point you might run into shortages of workers, and therefore the priority function is very important to keep the essential buildings running and to not fail.
So we have, at the time, we have like 55 energy. That's what we have left, right? So the other energy is all being used up in the buildings that are currently placed?
The most part of the energy is used up by the anti-gravity device. Right now, well, not the most part, we still have 230 left. It's because we just built the second power plant. That's usually not the case, that you have a lot of energy, like surplus energy, but we've just built the second power plant, and we've got workers taking care of these two power plants at the moment. So we got 230 energy units, and the anti-gravity device takes up 75. If I increase the radius, it is at 147. So that is a mechanic to keep in mind, that the bigger the device, the larger the radius, and the stronger the shield, the more energy you need to produce. Like you said, completely right, the other buildings that produce something, in this case here it's the plantation, also consumes energy, some more than other, and then only very few buildings do not consume energy. Therefore, it is important to keep in mind when building, placing new buildings or constructing big buildings, for example, like this radar station, to have an eye on the energy level, on the to keep.
So later in the game, for example, you could have like a well-running city, and then suddenly there is a threat, or like I think later in the updates there's also an epidemic, and people get sick and they suddenly can't work in the anymore, and so there's no more energy, and you just lose the game if you're not careful.
That can happen.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not just through epidemics. There are accidents taking place randomly in production sites. That's something you can also lower by research, or through research, through the right technologies. You can just lower the factor of accidents taking place. You can increase security measures, but that is something that will also put you in front of difficulties, and the food production. At the moment, we are only producing vegetables, and we are producing raw vegetables, so that is also a bit more complex, of course, and raw vegetables can also cause diseases or food poisoning, and there's a whole food logic. I will say a few more words about that here as we go along. All right, I've built the radar station, and now the next task is to scan the surroundings, and finally we will be able to access the navigation interface, and there we can witness how we are just in one out of many sectors to discover. We are right here with our flying city, with our colony, and there is plenty of things to discover in all these sectors, and we will start with a surround scan to see what we have in our in close proximity, and then we will take the first flight, and you will be able to fly.
So where you are starting on the map, is that randomized?
At the moment, you always start here. We are thinking about a randomly generated map when it comes to resources and story points. However, at the moment, it's the starting formation is always the same.
So we are South Americans? Do I see that right?
Now we are actually in North America.
See, I suck at geography, I'm sorry.
We are in the US and somewhere in like southwest.
Yeah.
The information that we gathered from the surround scan is that these sectors give some more information, and for example, we've discovered resources in this sector, and this one says toxic cloud, so we will not fly into that, and we will actually fly south, and I will set destination for this sector.
So there are also these little icons, the eye symbols and the little white points, the white dots. What do they mean?
Something to discover. As you progress in the tech tree, the scan depth will increase, and then you will be able to get more detailed information about the sectors, about the contents of sectors right away. At the beginning, you will have to fly to the sector to fully find out what is there to discover, and we will do that here in a second. The white icon is just an icon for there is some kind of resource there, and the colored sector in general means that this sector in red, either danger, toxic clouds, or meteorite shower, and blue just means rain. There are rain clouds to fly to, and then also to extract water out of those rain clouds.
Yeah, so Ezreal asked if the blue zones have any meaning. So that's the rain clouds, right?
Exactly.
Right, and Ed actually flew into the red zones for his first flight, which sometimes isn't the best idea, at the beginning at least.
Definitely not. However, I just started the flying sequence. There is also there are things to discover in the more dangerous sectors as well, and sometimes the resources, just the resource that you're looking for, is within a sector or a range of sectors where there's danger to just handle, and therefore it's important to, as soon as possible, increase shield strength to be able to get to the very valuable resources.
And when there are actually threats, there's always like a strength or a threat level, right? So for the poison cloud, I think it was like level 1. And how does that correlate to the shield?
The dangers range from 1 to 10. The only exception at the moment is are the toxic clouds. They at this point only have strength level 1, but they have a long-term negative effect. If you stay in sectors with toxic clouds, your people will slowly become ill, and also if you don't treat them or if you do not leave this sector, they will die. So that's the uniqueness of the toxic sector at the moment. There will be different threat levels of the toxic sector as well. The other dangers we've just encountered, the particle storm so far, range from threat level 1 to 10, and if your shield strength is lower than the threat level, then you will feel the consequences. Okay, I'm in flight.
So let's say there's a threat level 5 and I'm level 4.
Then you will feel that your shield strength is not enough to prevent you from the threat. And for example, if we're in a meteor shower, you will see the meteors going through the shield and impacting whole areas of your colony.
All right.
Wiping out a few buildings at once if you're unlucky. So that's something to avoid. At some point, it's not like it's hard to avoid. It's not always you're not always able to avoid because the amount of material at some point is fading out, and you have to find new resources. And sometimes the only option is to get to those resources is to fly through a barrier of potential threats of sectors with high dangers, and you just need to do it because there's no other option.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and now we've arrived in this sector, and there are natural resources that we can mine, and for doing so we need a specific building, and that is the mining drone hub. And I'm going to set up a bit of an industrial sector here on this side. And I'm just going to place it here. It's a special building for the mining of raw resources. For example, of rock clusters, of mineral clusters. You see one right here. And also of ice clusters and ice crystals. So that is an important building. And as soon as the building, the construction process is done, we will send out the mining drones and gather those resources. Something to add, like to the topic resources, is some of those resources contain elements, and by mining the resources you will most of the time get material, unless you're mining ice clusters or ice crystals, then it's water. But these clusters we've encountered here are material clusters or clusters that will provide material, and also elements. If it's not just a rock cluster, but if it's a mineral cluster, and these elements will be collected, will be stored in the inventory up there. And as you can see, there are quite a few elements to discover and to store. And these elements are very important for technology. So it's kind of like a second currency. I'll say a few more words about that when we start with research, because we need a tech center for that. And as soon as we finish the tutorial, we're going to jump into that a bit more. Of course, you could already start it, but let's focus here on the tutorial for now. This is the interface here of the mining drone hub, and there are the two resources listed that we have encountered, and I'm going to send out the two drones. There they go, and they will do their job. They will mine one after the other, and when they return from their duty, our material storage, our stock will rise, because we've turned these rock and mineral clusters into material. And by checking out the top bar here, I see that my water supply goes down, and it's already at a point where I should focus on water production to not get into difficulties here, because the food production needs water, and we have a stock at the beginning, but it's going down. It's pretty close to zero, so I will take care of that, and I'm able to show you how this mechanic works here. It's the hydro tree, and the hydro tree collects water out of the atmosphere, but just a small amount, maybe sufficient for a plantation, or maybe 1.5, but it's not that much. So what I've already said before, when you encounter sectors with rain clouds, these hydro trees will collect a lot more water, and that's a functionality you want to keep in mind when traveling from sector to sector, to include flights through sectors with rain clouds to fill up your water supply. Third way of getting water is ice mining. Like I said, these ice clusters and ice crystals that you can also encounter.
Yeah, they look really cool. I saw one yesterday. Love the atmosphere. It's like all bluish.
Yeah, we will fly into a rain sector once we finish the mining process here.
Cool.
And then we will also take a look at that. The priority function came in handy, what I've mentioned earlier just now, because I'm already getting into some difficulties here and there with our people. Because we have only 48, and each workstation is of course important, and now you need to decide what is more important. And at the moment, for example, our hydro tree is more important than the radar station. Once we've gathered a few more colonists, rescued a few survivors from other sectors by locating escape pods, we will have more.
So one thing I wasn't sure about, when you fly, right? When you set the flight sequence, can you turn off the radar station after, or are you just gonna fall down? Or
you will not fall down. The radar station is not the thing that keeps you up here in the sphere. It's the AGD, but the radar station is vital for navigating. So That's why whenever the radar station is not operated, you do not have access to the interface, and you cannot set destination for new flights, and you can also for that time when the radar station is not operated, you cannot perform scans in any form. All right, First Officer Conway is back with some information here for us. Like I said before, the AGD, the anti-gravity device, is something we need to know more about to gain control of it. That's why we have plenty of tasks surround that have to do with the anti-gravity technology in general. And to do all these tasks, we first of all need more people. We need to increase the size of population. And that's what we are left with the task after the tutorial. We first of all, before anything can go on with expanding your colony to a really large size, we need more people to have the workers for all the tasks that we need to take care of.
Yeah,
And
so when you find other people, they are always like 20. I found 20 people sometimes. I found 5 people, and you always get the option to take them with you or leave them there or just take half. But I always took all the people at the moment. Is there a situation where you would say that you don't need the people, or they are rather dangerous when you take them?
Sometimes it depends, of course, on what how far you're in the game. At the very beginning, you should take every potential colonist into your colony, into your flying city, because you need the manpower, that's for sure, at the beginning. At some point when you are basically equipped with enough workers and manpower, and you encounter an escape pod, and you know that 30 more people would just be not working and eating up your food supply, that might be a case where you decide to not take them in, just because just because you want to keep the balance that you've established. But at the very beginning, like I said, every potential colonist is very welcome. All right, we will fly to this sector here with the blue icon, which shows you there is a human activity. We were just talking about taking in some colonists. You know what, we will do that, and maybe we will go fly into the rain cloud sector after that. We will have a few more minutes, I assume, to look into that, and I don't want to waste too much time here talking and not being able to show you the
I'm sorry,
sectors.
I'm asking too many
No,
questions.
I'm also talking and explaining so much. It's obviously quite helpful to get some more information, because there is.
But it's
so
also
much
nice
to
to know that
discover.
you know so much about, passionate about it. So you want to tell us everything, you know. It's
I,
like Ed just told us that the entry is very low. So, but we like to live dangerously here. So
we up here we always live in great danger. So that is something you will encounter, the dangerous sphere up here. The first particle storms, one is taking place right now, are weak. It's just strength 1, but let me assure you, they will also grow in the threat level, and they will pose a bigger threat once they are on level 2 or 3. So at some point yeah, that's an
I
issue.
actually have one more question. I just remembered. So, would you build another drone hub, construction hub at the beginning, or just leave it at one?
Do you mean the mining drone hub?
No, the construction drones. Because I'm always impatient and I wanna, build a lot fast and clean out the area with the ruins a little bit. So, I tend to build a second
Yeah, I
building
know
hub.
what you mean. And the one drone that is performing all your construction or removal tasks is sometimes taking a lot of time because
It's
it's only
prolonged.
one. That's why very reasonable question. I would say if you have the energy available for that, go ahead. It's always nice to have a couple drones doing your work. At this point, I would advise you to get a few more colonists and maybe increase energy production because I was just at 7 and now I'm at 32. Some building must have run out of workers because there are some injured colonists or sick colonists. So the overall energy level right now is not the best, not the highest. If I would place a construction drone hub right now, I wouldn't have the workforce. I would have to redirect workers from another production site to the construction drone hub, and that would just be at the moment not too helpful.
Yeah.
After,
But you can do it if you like.
of course,
You
yeah,
know-
you can build 10 construction drone hubs right away and shut down every other building and just have the workers there. It's of course it's possible. It's up to the player. That's I wouldn't recommend it, but of course it's possible. Sure.
Okay. I see.
Sure. All right, we've encountered the first escape pod here with 20 survivors on board, and we will rescue all of them, of course. And now we have a colony of 68 colonists, but only 50 of those are accommodated. So I will build a few residential units right away to have enough living space for them, and then I will fly into another sector and I will start the research. I really have to increase the protection here because the particle storms are getting stronger and the residential units and all the other buildings are already taking damage. This power plant is already at 24. You will be able to tell when you get closer that these buildings do not look so fresh anymore. And you will also find out the condition of buildings by hovering here in the bottom bar. And you can see the building health bar above the buildings, and green is good, red not so good. So I will start a repair mission here. I sent a drone on a repair mission for everything.
Is there already
safe
like an
side.
hotkey to show you the status of every building?
The status of every building is by hovering here,
Oh,
by
right,
hovering
building
down
health,
here.
yeah.
Exactly, that's the status. And then you also have this function here that shows you which of the buildings you've already built are inside the dome and therefore protected. If I would place a building outside of the dome, it would be highlighted in another color. And the buildings that require workforce are highlighted by hovering over the workforce icon down here. So that's some quick help in a situation where you might be like losing track of how is the situation here, how many buildings do I really need to repair. That's what you should look at.
Cool.
All right, before flying into unknown territory, I will fly northwest here into sector 15. There are resources there, and it's a blue sector, so it's a sector, it's a rain cloud sector, and that's why we will set destination for that. And destination and start the flight. Why can I not fly? Is the building not equipped with enough workers? Oh no, that's something I haven't even mentioned at all so far. The flying sequences are only able if you have the amount of flight energy necessary for the sequence, and that's what this bar down here is for. And the flight energy is something that is the display here, the bars, they are slowly being filled up by energy that you overproduce. So if we have spare energy, this bar fills up. If our spare energy is just 7, this bar fills up slowly, very slowly. So you also, for that reason, want to keep a good production of energy running to be able to navigate from sector to sector. What I will do now, to not wait too long, I will decrease the shield radius. Hopefully it's still okay. It will increase the rise of this bar because of 80 energy units that we overproduce at the moment. And I can also increase the speed of the game. There are 3 levels. At some points in the game, you can do that, of course. You can do that at any time. You can do whatever you want, of course. But at some point, it's not the smartest thing, especially not when there are particle storms or other dangers approaching your colony, because you might have to react quick. And when the game speed is on just the maximum, it can really come to a quick end here, especially when you're running low on material, or when your energy breaks down, when you have sick or injured colonists and a production site is for some reason like very quickly excuse me, very quickly not being operated anymore, and you have to react. So when you know it's okay for now, increase the time. If not, probably shouldn't do it. All right, I got enough surplus energy, and I'm able to set destination now for the sector 15, and our flight sequence was initiated.
So you are right now. You are explaining quite a lot. So you play in the normal speed setting, right? But when you play privately, would you just go 3 times speed all the time?
Not all the time, but of course I increase the game speed more often than right now. But just when I'm quite certain of the shield strength, the shield protection is solid. At the beginning, I'm also careful with that because, like I said, it cannot come to an abrupt ending here if you do not pay attention to your units and workforce and etc. So, and while we are on our way to the next sector, I will construct where are we here, technology. I will set up the technology center and start some research, because I really want to increase the shield protection. And we actually have a few people available as workforce. With the 20 we've rescued in the previous sector, we've gotten to a quite solid situation here. And it's not gonna be for too long, that's for sure. But for now, it's good, and we can start with the research. However, now since we've built our tech center, which is this is the special edition, the Save the World edition that I'm playing here. So a few of these buildings look different in the standard edition, and this is the tech center here. It's
Yeah, so
Save
beautiful.
the world. Yes.
So nice.
But it's a beautiful building. However, after building this tech center here, I'm in the negative when it comes to energy. Therefore, I will take care of that by building another energy production site, another power plant here in this industrial block here. Wait a minute.
So we are at -2 at the moment, but we have some time to fix that, or is it like over in a second?
At this point, all buildings that require energy are not working, except for the anti-gravity device. Sometimes there's a spin when arriving in a new sector and holding the right mouse button before. Something you should look out for. Particle storm strength 2. You can see it does some damage. I really have to increase the shield protection. But to finish the negative energy topic here, as you can see here, these icons that bounce on all the buildings that require energy means they are not working, they're not functioning. So at this point, there is no food being produced, no water being collected, no patients being treated, and I could also not access the navigation interface. So I need to either deactivate a building that requires energy so that the amount of energy, in this case 65, is being is back in the energy system and therefore available for other buildings. And now all the other buildings are back on track. The mining drone hub is deactivated. I could not mine raw resources at the moment, but I will be able to very shortly once I've placed another power plant, and I will expand the industrial complex here to the other side of the road here. These people will probably not be too happy about that, but that's okay. And I have energy, I have people, I have the tech center. I will start some research now. And as you can see, there are 5 branches of the technology, roughly 30 technologies available at the beginning. With every phase, there will be a number of technologies unlocked, but there's plenty already at the beginning of the game, and this is the technology that I'm looking for. The air ionization technology. It increases shield strength to level 2. I'm locking it a bit, but that's the one I'm eager to research. However, I'm missing one element, and I need to do some more mining to fill up my inventory in order to have the combination necessary for this research. There are technologies available for research that do not require certain combinations of elements, and it can never hurt to start researching those right away, especially if you are lacking the required elements necessary for
there's an element conversion, right? I'm gonna be honest, it was a bit difficult for me at first to understand what you're actually doing there. Can you show that maybe already? But
sure.
We don't have that much.
I will need a few more elements
go ahead.
to fill up the inventory, but I will show it, of course. It's quite difficult at first. Once you've done it a few times, it really comes natural. So give it a try. If not, if anything in the game gives you a hard time, we've tried to be as complete and as precise as we can be by explaining almost
I
everything
just
not just because you asked. I wanted to show you and the people who are interested in this just this functionality.
I'm like, yeah, that's for another life.
It
But it's
comes
not
in.
that
It
hard.
comes in handy for sure. It
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
in handy. There are a few mechanics that are new, and of course, people are not used to it. Element conversion. Most of these elements, people have probably seen them during chemistry, periodic table, but it's not very common to convert elements. So I can totally understand why you or others are a bit overwhelmed with that. Speaking of overwhelmed here, these particle storms are starting to give me a bit of a hard time. I think I should send out these drones, these mining drones, but already. So I'm waiting right now to mine those raw resources, because one of these raw resources is a mineral cluster, and with that logic I've explained earlier, mineral clusters contain elements, and I only need, if I'm right, I only need the 2 elements out of the very common category or common category. So and then I should be able to convert the existing elements into the ones I need, and therefore I should be able to do the research and then upgrade the shield protection to the 2nd level, and that will give me a bit of a relief here because these particle storms are starting to challenge me a little bit. You've already probably noticed that we are in more clouds than we were before. We've obviously entered this rain cloud sector, and it's always smart to scan as many sectors as possible. When you enter a new sector, immediately perform a scan of the surroundings to find out which direction would be the smartest for the next travel. The other option, I'm going to pause here just a second to explain it. The other option for scanning is to send out a scout drone, and you just the logic is similar to a flight sequence. You just send out a drone, but you can click on any sector on the world map. And I'm just going to take this one. You select this sector and deploy the drone, and then the scout drone will come back in a little bit with precise information about that sector. The information of the scout drone, the scan depth, is actually higher than that of the scan of the surroundings. So what you want to do is use both scans to get as much information as possible about the potential threats and potential resources to discover in other sectors.
Does it ever make sense to just fly somewhere blind when you need to get out there, for example, really quick out of the sector?
Not really.
That's a shame. You know,
It's. I mean, there are situations where you need to get out of the sector because you've maybe underestimated the threat level, or you are out of workers. You have a shortage of energy, and you have to decrease the shield strength or the radius, and buildings are exposed. Then you need sometimes you need to get out of there, but it's always better to check. Where
we need to later down the line for development, we need to like add a flying shark or something, you know, like the Sharknado sharks that chase you around, so you need to move really quickly. That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if we'll be able to realize that, but it would be cool. For sure.
Well, maybe we don't do that, but you know, we can dream.
We will certainly have more things to come. That's for sure.
Yeah. And meetings about the sharks.
I will pass it on to the guys here in a little bit and see what
Nice.
they think about it. The mining process is done. I didn't pay attention if we gathered some elements, but it looks like we did. So now I will take another look at the security branch, air ionization technology. We need 2 sulfur and 2 silicon. That's possible. It is possible. And I'm going to show you how this function here, how this mechanic works. These are the categories of elements from common to ultra rare, and there is an exchange rate within each colony, and within the common colony it's 1 to 2. That means if I want, for example here, silicon, and I don't want carbon, then I put down 1 for silicon and I take away 2, click on convert, and there we go. The exchange rate within the categories rises as the rarity of the elements within each category also rise. Therefore, this one here, the rare elements 1 to 5, very rare 1 to 10, extremely rare 1 to 15, and there's only 1 element in the ultra rare category. And you can also convert elements downward or upward in context of rarity. It's always 1 to 20, meaning you need 20 calcium, for example, to create nickel or chrome. It only works in one direction, so I could not take arsen to convert it to any other out of a less valuable.
What is the rarest material?
Platinum.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It's of course it somehow correlates with the actual rarity out there, but it's of course we are now it's not an educative game in that sense that we've taken everything as
well. It sounds rare, and it is to most of us. So, that's good.
Exactly. That's what we thought as well. And the second conversion I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I took some sulfur and created another element here in the common category, and now I am finally able to do this very, very important research in order to increase the shield strength to level 2. I mean, it's not gonna be enough for forever, but it's for the moment it will help us. The scout drone came back with some information on this sector. It's not really something that looks too inviting. Meteor shower strength 4. Okay, we will probably go around that one. But I will fly into another sector and I will try to get more colonists together here to increase the population, and I'm gonna head north, maybe take on these resources and then look for people up there. There are stranded survivors in escape pods in various sectors. Therefore, that's my main purpose at the moment, to find more people. I would like to increase the colonists, the people count, and then also the building count. And for example, as soon as I'm able to increase shield strength, I will need more energy. I'm doing fairly well at the moment, but it rises exponentially. So yeah, it's something when you progress and you are able to increase the shield strength, there's always a higher demand of energy coming with that. So I want to bear that in mind.
So I want to see you get in trouble, you know, like we are running out of time, literally, for the stream at least, and I want to see some hardcore gameplay, some quick decision making. Can we do that?
That's not a problem. Sometimes it comes quicker than you want, you know.
Yeah.
But no problem.
Let's be reckless here. Let's see what you're made of.
No problemo. I will first of all for, like you've mentioned earlier, the construction drones, they really help you a lot when it comes to repairing and taking care of dangerous situations. If you have the energy, it's something I'm doing good for now with, and I will also set up another power plant and then probably reshift some workers. And then we can go take a stroll into a sector that is a bit more dangerous. Yeah, we've been taking it relatively easy so far.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, somebody who plays this game for the very first time is not aware of the mechanics as well as I am. So
yeah, I just watched some people. I clicked around a little bit because there are other people playing on Twitch right now. So, you know, I love to listen to you, but I had a glimpse in some streams that checked out how it's going. And some people, like they managed to stay alive for 5 minutes and then they got better. So it definitely works.
That's our goal, of course, to provide a nice experience. We don't want to frustrate people with our game. People should, you know, have the decent amount of challenge in the game, so that when they get into difficult situations, they hopefully get a way out of that situation. But if not, then they should retry immediately, because they are eager to figure out a way how to make things better the next time. And therefore, like I said, I would be surprised if players who play this game really play it for the first time manage how to take care of everything. Would be a surprise.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, as I've said, I look like some people. I looked some people up that are strategy experts, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and restart. So that's totally cool. But Ed is actually asking if it will be possible to upgrade buildings later, more living space, more energy. So
there are buildings, of course, that can be upgraded. It's through research. For example, this branch here leads you to the solar power station, and the next technology is an upgrade for that. Higher durability, or stronger resistance for threats. So that's obviously something that will will become bigger, but it's already in the early access version to increase certain features of buildings. There are residential buildings also unlockable in the interdisciplinary technologies branch right here. If you've managed to gather some more resources and especially gathered some elements, you're able to unlock the second residential building. And production sites are upgradable. Residential buildings like these are not upgradable. However, you can unlock new and bigger residential buildings, providing also a bit more comfort for the people. The loyalty level, I've been talking about so many things, but I haven't mentioned the loyalty level yet, is something that's very important because at some point you need to gather really a bigger population, a large crowd. You need buildings to be operated, and the loyalty level in that sense plays an important role, because if it's higher than 50, you actually reproduction kicks in, and the two main factors for loyalty are first of all the living situation, the accommodation. If the colonists have a roof above their head, therefore you need to, of course, provide houses and residential units. However, it's okay. However, the comfort level of each residential unit is also something to be aware of, and the second residential is, in that sense, provide more comfort and is more effective, if you want. I'm going to scan the surroundings here and fly into, gonna fly into that sector. I'm not going to do a, excuse me. I'm not going to do a blind flight here. do a scan before. And get out of the toxic sector. If you stay too long in here, people get sick. I have 7 sick colonists at the moment. Loyalty goes down. You can feel the effect. I didn't stay too long. I'd rather give you a bit of appetite of another danger that we haven't encountered yet, and it's a bit more visual, and it's the meteor shower. At this,
can you actually survive when you fly into a threat that's too dangerous, right? You can just move out quickly, so sometimes you gotta do it, right?
Well, the sector, the map is made up of different patterns of different regions, and some regions are more valuable when it comes to resources. And sometimes the path to those more valuable regions of the map is blocked by threats. So you need to figure out a way of either go round or go through. And go round can take up a lot of time. And as you can see here, the amount of material is always decreasing. It's like as long as the anti-gravity device is running, you lose material. So at some point that becomes quite a tough decision to either go the long way around a potential threat to get to the resources you need, or to go through and just take some damage. It depends on how far you're into the development of the shield.
Yeah. Later you can also fly multiple sectors at once, right? Or pass.
Yes, you can already do that, or you can select a route for several sectors, but you need the flight energy, and you only have 1 bar. So when you're in a flight and you're out of energy, you will automatically stop in that sector that you're in. And if you have unlocked like the complete flight energy bar, or the display of, and it includes all the bars, then you facilitate the flying sequence in that sense that you don't and you won't stop after the first sector if you're running out of energy because you have the energy available for a 3-sector navigation, for example.
Cool.
All right, got a few more colonists, and I will immediately perform a surround scan and see. I'm pretty sure there will be something in red up here, and let's see. There we go. It's another toxic sector. Let's see. You know what? We will fly. Actually, I'm going to do another investigation of these 2 sectors here beforehand. The shield protection level 2 already helps me a lot. At least for the moment, until the particle storms in threat level 3 arrive. It won't take long.
Do it. So the quest right now is like collecting 300 people, right? Or birthing 300, depending on how you want to achieve that.
True.
What do you imagine for like future updates? What could some goals be in the game?
There. Just a second. We've tried to implement a few more missions, but it was not possible in the how do you say it? We wanted to put in like a whole first set of missions, not just one to start with, but we didn't manage to do that, but we will actually do that before the very first update, and therefore you will be able to figure out how that looks like very soon, and we
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's going to be realized before update 1, and that will be the first part of the campaign, and it will give you a lot of information of what happened and what your goal for the campaign, for the storyline will be. It will, of course, unfold step by step, but you have very wide range of missions in giving you information about various aspects of the game. So you can definitely look out for that. And like I said, it will be implemented before the first update.
Yeah, while we are talking about updates, there's actually a roadmap on Steam available in the forums and on the Assemble social account. So if you want to see what's coming up in the next updates, the first is set for the end of this year, and there will be another big update early next year. And there will be probably, or we are planning with, I think, 6 updates in total, and for a release of the full game within 1 year from now. So we have this laid out pretty well, what the early access phase has in store for us and the players, right?
Exactly. There will be a bunch of features going into the game, entering the game. The first update, the first big update in about 2 months will include the industrial and the industry and pollution feature, which is something we've tried to already hint at with like the pollution is very visible from the very beginning of the game. You have power plants that produce pollution, and at some point, you will find out in about 2 months, it gets too much because, of course, under the dome, the pollution level is something to look after, and you have to counteract the pollution by regulating the atmosphere within the dome, and that's planned for update 1, so that's something to look out for. For update 2, there will be the life cycle of colonists, so you will have people, children, workers and retired people, so it will be a question of balancing, of trying to keep an eye on your workforce, and also feeding retired people. Some childcare buildings will enter the game, and much more. There will be a few threats added step by step. Ice storms are probably the next danger that will be implemented, and then at some point,
maybe.
Sorry?
Don't worry. I just said sharks, maybe.
Okay, the sharks again.
Yeah. Never mind.
I don't know about the sharks yet, but we will keep that in mind. We will talk about it again. Excuse me. And definitely much more to come. That's for sure. And the very okay. The storyline, I cannot say anything right now. What will come? That would be too much to spoiler. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I can't say too much about that. But another feature that I can promise is coming within one of the updates. Hold on, now I have to take care of. Just a second, I will continue the update info in a minute here. Why am I running out of energy?
Yeah, don't worry about the all the information. We will get there. Just do your thing. But while we are
Excuse me.
slowly coming to a close, maybe there are more questions from the chat. Anything from the people? If you want to talk about something, know something, please feel free. Go ahead and ask us. We'll try to answer as good as possible, to the best of our abilities. Well, if something pops up, I will forward it to you. Right now, there's nothing, as it seems.
Okay, well, maybe we have answered a bunch of questions already.
Yeah, I think we
while
were pretty
played along.
thorough.
Good, that's always good.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when starting a new game and being overwhelmed by some of the unusual or just new mechanics, there can be some questions coming up. That's I think the most normal thing in the world.
Right.
Okie dokie, we are on our way. Why aren't we on our way? Are we on our way? Hold on. Flight energy again. Uh-huh. To remove a few buildings here because the material count or the stock is slowly diminishing. Ah, now I know why we've into some energy shortages here. These residential units are completely damaged and the residents are no longer accommodated, so we are lacking workforce. Gonna provide. Oh, see now
Yeah, now it's
now it's almost. Oh, hold on, just a second. Now I'm in a tough situation here. I didn't mean to.
That's what I wanted to see.
Okay, see, I paused the game to. I'm out of material. I'm out of material at the moment, and I've. Okay, I need more drones quickly because only one drone is working here at the moment, and I need workforce for the construction drone hubs. This should or could work. I'll find out. Okay. What's the deal? Okay, I go to the highest priority level to keep people from going to some other workspace here. This is not possible at the moment. I need the building to operate. I need the drones.
See, when the developer needs to pause, you know that it's tough at that point, so that's good.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I was going to fly into the meteor shower sector to give you that sort of danger situation, and then I ran out of material and I wasn't able to do the turnarounds. Sure. I didn't mean to do that. That's.
So, do you have a course of action, or are we gonna follow now?
It's game over. It's as the text says, the flying city fell into the dark.
Oh, I
clouds.
didn't see it yet. I'm looking at the stream and it's a bit delayed, so I didn't know that. So we actually managed to die here.
We did.
That-
Maybe I should have focused a bit more on the material supply, not ramble here about all the upcoming features. I don't know.
No. I think that's fantastic. I think that's the perfect ending. And next time we'll just do better, you know.
Yeah, I guess I have to practice.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I wanted to show you the meteor shower at least, but next time.
Did you save? We can jump back in if you like.
No, of course I didn't. I thought, what can happen? I know the game quite well, so I thought it should be fine. I didn't save one single time.
Well, that's overconfidence.
That's what happens.
That's actually a quote from a game. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. You know.
It obviously is in this case, and like I said, I wish I would have either saved or stopped rambling and focused a bit more on the material count.
It's my fault. Don't worry about it.
I keep thinking about those sharks. No, it's all good, and I think it's time-wise, it's not too bad, and now. People who are interested in finding out what these meteor showers look like, or how dangerous they really are, what the threat level of these meteor shower is, they can find that out for themselves.
Right, they do that, and they can see it in the trailer too, for a short time at least.
And I'm pretty sure in some other clips as well.
Yeah. We had some feedback.
Now you were just gone for a second.
From Azrael. He feels, or she, that materials are becoming stronger and stronger, and he's sitting at shield strength 2, and mining resources takes quite a long time. So that's part of the challenge, I guess, right?
Of course, the game. I mean, of course, I have a different perspective on the game, but it starts relatively easy. It starts relatively slow, and you got time to get accustomed. But and you got all these damaged buildings that provide material for you at the beginning. You don't need to fly too much or in that regard of getting material at the beginning. But at some point, once you used up the material available for you on the piece of land, and you need to find more, it can really be challenging. And of course, if you want to progress in the tech tree, you need specific elements to progress. Therefore, you need to fly to other sectors to find these resources and collect on these elements. So at some point, there is no other option just to fly and navigate and explore as much as possible. And material plays a key role for that stage of the game. At the beginning, it's relatively easy with material.
Cool. King Julian said the game is fun. Thanks, King Julian, over on YouTube.
Cool.
Thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. So I guess if there are no more questions or anything, we call it a day for today and do another one of these quite soonish. Will be announced via social media, of course. Unless, Toby, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've said a lot. In my case,
You talked a lot, yeah.
I talked too much, and I already, lost track of essential game mechanic here. But it was a lot of fun, and I hope you had some fun as well. Like we've said many times by now, there's a lot more to come, but the version already available will provide many hours of gameplay. There's a lot to discover. Make sure to progress in the tech tree and unlock all the buildings available. If you got the shield strength up to a level where you are safe to travel into dangerous zones, do it. There's a lot to discover and a lot to check out.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for
Well then, see
your
if there's
interest.
any other questions, feedback. Yeah. So I hope my connection was fine. I had some internet problems during the stream. I hope I didn't cut off at some points, but I guess we managed to to bring this to an end. All right, guys. Since I'm not seeing any more questions, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. As I've said, we will do more of these very soon. And yeah, if you want to check out the game, I think we never posted a link in the chat or anything. So let me just go. Let me just do that. Here at Twitch and over at YouTube. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a good night and enjoy the game. Right.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Then bye bye. See you next time, everyone.
Ciao.